What is up, guys? It is Ultra Freak here today, and today we're going to talk about which one is better for Ben 10 to transform into. Is either a Kryptonian or a Saiyan. Now, this only pertains to battle and nothing else. And in this situation, this is a situation where Ben 10 has to transform into an alien for, let's say, hand-to-hand combat, and it has to be either a Saiyan or a Kryptonian. And the reason for this video is not necessarily who is strongest, but the reason is for which alien is easier to adjust to. Because, you know, if you watch Ben 10, when he turns into a new alien, although he may know the ins and outs of it due to the Omnitrix, there is a learning curve he has to go through. So this will pertain to which alien would be easier to operate with someone who's not really familiar with it, including Ben 10 himself, and which one is more efficient in battle, because you can have a really strong guy not know how to use him, but then you can have an average alien use him very well and make him a lot more effective than he would be, you know. So without wasting any more time, let's get started on the actual discussion. Now, I know that there's going to be some people who still do not understand that I'm talking about the learning curve of each race, as I believe that some races are easier to understand than others. You know, you have someone like Four Arms. That's easy. He's just a really strong guy. And then you have other aliens like, I don't know, Echo, and then you have Echo who can actually multiply and so on and so forth, who has multiple abilities, and you have to actually figure that out. So I'm going to use an example with weaponry. Don't get triggered. So basically, let's say you have two average people and you give one person a pistol and then the other person has a machine gun. Now, a machine gun is really heavy, and the person with the pistol might have the advantage because they could just whip it out quicker and just take one shot and that's it. However, we all know that the full potential of a pistol compared to a machine gun, the machine gun would win. But this is a prime example of what I'm talking about. It's the ease of use when you don't really have experience with anything, and that is what this video is about basically. Now let's talk about things that have been discussed in the past with Seth the Programmer and Kuro the Artist. You know, the argument is, will Ben 10 transform into a Saiyan like Goku, or just be like a low-class Saiyan like Radix, and so on and so forth. So let's just make scenarios, because it's unclear if Ben 10 can actually transform into the actual Goku race. And the thing is, maybe he can transform into a Saiyan with potential just like Goku if he scanned Goku. But however, like things like Ultra Instinct, Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Blue, that is up in the air. So basically, the first scenario where Ben 10 basically just turns into an average or basic, you know, member of the race, then obviously he wouldn't be a Saiyan, he would be a Kryptonian. So the Kryptonian wins that round where he doesn't gain any basically potential from the actual person he highlights. And the reason why he would be a Kryptonian, because obviously he gets his energy from the sun, and that's very easy to understand, and, you know, super speed, super strength. And of course Superman does have some techniques he created on his own, like the infinite mass punch. Hopefully I'm saying that right. I know the comments will correct me, but he has some techniques from Kryptonian martial art that I'm not sure if he made that up, or he probably made that up, because there's not many Kryptonians in the stories. So he basically made that martial art, and it's up in the air if Ben 10 will even get to know that martial art in the Omnitrix. So let's move on to the next topic. If Ben 10 were able to take the potential of the person he highlights this thing from. So basically, he won't just turn into a Saiyan, but like, let's say a Saiyan with potential just like Goku. Now, it's been discussed that yes, he may be able to turn into Super Saiyan 1, 2, and 3 because of the DNA and so on, and the potential of the DNA. So, and then you have basically a roadblock, because you don't know where to draw the line with this, because Goku trained a lot to learn a lot of things. Like, a lot of the things that he did was not because of his race, but because of what he learned. But things such as the Kamehameha and Kaioken, the Spirit Bomb, and so on and so forth. Things that humans can do as well. Now, it's kind of weird if Ben 10 was able to do the things that Goku spent years and years perfecting and learning from Master Roshi, even though Dragon Ball characters do it all the time. Like you have Cell, and then you have Majin Buu, and so on. So hypothetically, if Ben 10 were to fight Goku and he scanned him, it would be kind of like Captain Ginyu versus Goku all over again. And even though that's kind of different because Captain Ginyu has his own signature moves that he did in Goku's body, Captain Ginyu wasn't able to do any of the Kaioken stuff, any of Goku's actual, techniques in his body. And I think the fighting style that Captain Ginyu demonstrates while he's in Goku's body would demonstrate how Ben 10, who scanned Goku, would actually fight. That's a good representation because they're saying that I see some YouTubers say that Ben 10 will actually invent his own techniques, his own Saiyan techniques, and I could actually see that he will invent his own Saiyan techniques in this form and so on. It's just that whether this he would actually get full control of Goku with all the things. And the thing is, if Ben 10 will transform into Super Saiyan 3, it's not really anything when you have Super Saiyan God and Super Saiyan Blue and so on. So he's not getting the full potential of what Goku can actually do. It's still strong, but as we know, Super Saiyan 3 is not really anything close to Superman. Well, the thing is, there's multiple Supermans, so it depends on which one I compare it to. But it's better that Ben 10 would transform into a Kryptonian, because basically a Kryptonian in the sun for a bit can probably surpass a Super Saiyan 3 for the most part, depending on which Superman. I don't want to point a finger to an exact Superman, but on average, I've seen a Superman who's been in the sun and he can take out. I know that's a broad statement, but it would be better for him to transform it into a Kryptonian if he can only max out at Super Saiyan 3. Another thing is that will Ben 10 actually know the limits of these transformations? Even though it's programmed into his brain, will he know the logistics? Okay, let me transform into a Super Saiyan 2 instead of a Super Saiyan 3 because 3 will drain my power too much. Or would he have to actually learn that through combat? That's another thing that people don't really talk about. Another thing to consider is that will Ben 10 actually lose his rage when he fights as a Saiyan? Because Saiyans naturally, in their blood, they are more of a rageful race. And you see the race of 4 arms and stuff and so on, how aggressive they can be. And it's unclear whether that actually messes with the mental state of Ben 10. Unlike characters like Gray Matter, where of course it boosts Ben 10's IQ and it will influence his decision making, it's unclear whether a race with a low IQ would actually impact Ben 10 in a negative way. Not saying that Saiyans have a low IQ, but if you transform into the Hulk, you're not gonna make good battle decisions. If you read a lot of Hulk comics, that Hulk actually loses a lot of his battles because he loses sight of what the actual goal is, and he rages out and he misses the goal, and probably even starts fighting, the wrong people, which is the protagonist of the comic. While I don't want it to make it seem like Goku, everything that Goku has that's good about him is learned, while Superman, if you are a Kryptonian and you fly up in the sun, you could beat Superman. That's not necessarily true. It's just that there's more things that Goku has learned more than Superman, because Superman does have things he learned, like the techniques and stuff, and things even about his powers. However, I can tell you that if you give a regular person Goku's powers to fight Goku versus give Superman some powers to fight Superman, it's gonna be a little up in the air. I don't know if you guys read the Injustice comics, but they give people food pills, and then you have people like Alfred smashing down Superman. If you were to give somebody's Goku's powers, Goku Black is a perfect example. It took him a good minute to get used to the powers of Goku and know how it works. But the thing is, in general, the powers of Superman is more popular in pop culture and easier to understand more than Goku's actual powers. So I know that's a little bit unfair because of the impact of Superman, but think about it. If you have the power of super strength, you probably will figure that out quickly rather than some power like let's say Bleach character powers or like Naruto powers where you actually have chakra and then you have to use that chakra to summon a jutsu, and then you have like the more complicated your powers are, the harder it would be to figure it out. And the Kryptonian power is a lot easier to figure out, especially transforming in the first time. This scenario is basically if Ben 10 transformed and everything in the first time. I want to state that again just to make sure everything is clear. Last but not least, I want to bring up that when Ben 10 has an alien that's similar to an alien that he previously had, he has more of an edge at it than an alien that's just way different. For example, when you have when I think Ben 10 Alien 4 started and he turned into Swamp Fire, I believe that he compared it to Heat Blast and he was able to get an edge at it even though he had to learn how to fly with a rock under him. He got an advantage just by comparing it to a different alien. So I'm not sure if Ben 10 has another alien that's good at like a martial art, such as Kung Fu or something like that. That's weird. But although the anatomy of a Saiyan and a Kryptonian and a human are very similar, the things that, it's a lot up in the air more on the Saiyan side, like will he get the full potential? But with the Kryptonian side, it's very simple. It's very simple how the powers work, and that's basically it for the video, because it doesn't matter how much power he would get with Goku if he can't access it all. If Super Saiyan 3 is his max, then that's not enough. It's better if he were to transform into a Kryptonian, because a Kryptonian can surpass Kryptonian can pass Super Saiyan 3 within being in the sun. Now, things like Ultra Instinct, Super Saiyan God, and Super Saiyan Blue, that would be a lot more efficient if you were to use that. Although those have like a lot of like stamina issues and so on and so forth, there's a lot more that Ben 10 would have to know, and it just depends on if he would really know to be a Saiyan. But the thing is, Superman's powers are a lot more efficient to handle more of the villains that would come about rather than Dragon Ball Z, because let's be realistic, Dragon Ball Z characters, there's always a martial art aspect to fighting them. If they're not martial art, then it gets a little weird. For example, you have Vegeta versus Goldo. It was kind of up in the air on how that fight would go. It's a good thing that Vegeta chopped off Goldo's head. But if Superman were in that fight, it would be a little bit different, because I know that Superman has a stronger mental state and so on, and I think Dynamic had like 3 sons. He would be like a lot stronger, and like an attack that freezes time, I think that wouldn't stop him, depending on which Superman, because there's Superman that smash realities and stuff like that. It depends on which, but that's basically it. Like, Superman is more equipped to handle the everyday things, and then Goku's more like a martial arts guy, and there's a lot more variables when it comes to that. But in subculture, in the culture as a general, it's easier to understand Superman powers. Like, when you think of a superhero, the first 2 things is flight and super strength. Like, Ben 10 will really be will easierly handle himself in that. And I know that Goku can fly as well, and he has strength as well. But Superman's powers, even the heat vision and stuff like that, would be a lot more better than Ben 10 trying to learn ki control. Even though ki control does come with Saiyans, I did see that in the Just a Robot video with Kura the artist backing it up. However, key control is just like a statement. It's like how much, because you can always get better at key control no matter how good you are. Even Goku can get better at key control, but with Superman, with the sun empowered stuff like that, it would be a lot better if Superman were to transform. If Ben 10 were to transform into a Kryptonian than a Saiyan. There, I said it. So, thank you guys for listening. Don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. And I might make more videos on this topic. Oh yeah, and my next video would be about Ultimate Saiyan, basically. I want to talk about that. I didn't touch the Ultimate topic, but I want to bring it up in the next video because that's another can of beans. Thank you guys so much. Peace.